Life consists not in holding good cards, but in playing those you hold well. These words by Ralph Waldo Emerson remind us that life isn't about waiting for perfect circumstances or opportunities. Instead, it's about making the most of what we already have: our time, our energy, our choices. True transformation doesn't come from luck or grand gestures. It begins with small, intentional steps. This week, I decided to test that theory. I embraced 5 simple habits, small tweaks in my daily life, and the results were nothing short of transformative. It felt as if I'd started seeing life through a clearer lens, reconnecting with my purpose and peace. Do you ever feel like the days fly by in a haze of busyness? Like you're running on a treadmill, expending so much energy but never really moving forward? I've been there too. But here's what I learned: change doesn't have to be overwhelming or slow. It can happen in a single week, as long as you're willing to lean into it with focus and intention. Today, I'll share 5 habits that reshaped my days and reignited my sense of purpose. These aren't abstract ideas or overused platitudes. They're grounded in real, personal experiences, moments of struggle, discovery, and growth. They're not just about being more productive, but about being more present. Not just about doing more, but about becoming more aware, more connected, and more alive. So grab your morning coffee or tea, find a quiet corner, and let's dive into this journey together. My hope is that by the end of this video, you'll feel inspired to try one or maybe all of these habits and begin crafting a life that feels authentically yours. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Trench for more insights and practical steps to living a meaningful and intentional life. If you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration. Let's walk this path of growth and wisdom together. Habit number 1: embracing the sacred morning. In Emerson's time, the dawn was sacred, a moment to connect with nature and oneself. Inspired by this wisdom, I decided to reclaim my mornings, setting aside the distractions of phones, emails, and the frenzy of modern life. For 1 week, I began each day early, rising at 5 a.m., unsure of what I'd find in those quiet hours before the world awakened. The first few mornings were a battle. My bed was my fortress, my snooze button a trusted ally. Waking early felt unnatural, and I questioned whether this experiment was destined to fail. But by the 3rd day, I noticed something extraordinary: silence. Not just the absence of sound, but a stillness that settled into my bones. The world felt untouched, waiting to be discovered. I spent my first 20 minutes journaling, writing about my intentions, my thoughts, and gratitude for the simple things: the warmth of sunlight, the serenity of the morning, the promise of a new day. As Emerson said, "Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year." These early hours became my sanctuary, a time to reconnect with myself. I began small rituals: gentle stretches to awaken my body, moments of meditation to calm my mind, and the simple joy of sipping coffee without rush. These weren't grand acts, but intentional ones that grounded me in ways I hadn't expected. One morning, as I stood on my balcony watching the sunrise, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: gratitude, clarity, and a deep connection to the moment. Mornings became a gift, not a chore. Rising early isn't just about adding hours to your day. It's about reclaiming time for yourself, time to think, to feel, to prepare. Even 15 minutes earlier can shift your perspective, giving you the space to breathe and the opportunity to greet the day with intention. Habit number 2: walking with purpose. Emerson believed deeply in the restorative power of nature, often walking not for exercise, but for inspiration. Intrigued by this simple yet profound habit, I decided to take a page from his book and committed to a 30-minute walk each evening. At first, it seemed ordinary, a stroll through familiar streets and paths. But what I discovered was anything but mundane. These walks became a sacred time of reflection. Each step was a chance to notice the world in its quiet beauty: the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the crisp evening air brushing against my skin, the golden light of sunset spilling across the horizon. I listened to the rhythm of my own breath, matching it to the cadence of my steps, and for the first time in a long while, I felt truly present. One evening, I paused to watch a family of birds darting between branches, their song blending with the soft hum of the world settling down for the night. It wasn't just a moment, it was communion with life itself, a reminder of the interconnectedness Emerson so often wrote about. By the end of the week, these walks had transformed into something much greater than physical movement. They became a moving meditation, a time to process the day, let go of worries, and reconnect with myself and the world around me. I felt lighter not just in body, but in spirit. Walking with purpose isn't just about putting one foot in front of the other. It's about stepping into the world with intention, allowing yourself to be enveloped by its beauty, and finding inspiration in the ordinary. As Emerson believed, nature isn't just a backdrop, it's a teacher, a healer, and a source of endless wonder. Habit number 3: practicing mindful eating. The first wealth is health, Emerson once said, a truth that echoes deeply in our fast-paced world. Yet, in my own life, I realized how disconnected I'd become from one of the most fundamental acts of self-care: eating. Meals had become just another task to complete, often rushed or accompanied by endless distractions, a phone in one hand, a screen in front of me. For 1 week, I decided to change that. I set an intention: no phone, no TV, no distractions, just me and my plate. At first, it felt strange, almost unsettling, to sit in silence with my meal. But soon, it transformed into a ritual of presence and gratitude. I began each meal by taking a few deep breaths, grounding myself in the moment. With every bite, I paid attention, noticing the burst of sweetness in a crisp apple, the earthy crunch of a fresh salad, the comforting warmth of a bowl of soup. Foods I'd eaten countless times suddenly seemed new, their flavors and textures alive in ways I'd never appreciated before. One morning, I prepared a simple bowl of oatmeal. Normally, it was something I'd scarf down without a second thought. But this time, I savored the creamy texture, the subtle sweetness of honey drizzled on top, the delicate crunch of sliced almonds. What had been a mundane routine became a moment of joy and reflection, setting a positive tone for the rest of my day. Beyond the sensory experience, mindful eating brought unexpected benefits. Eating slowly allowed my body to signal when it was truly full, helping me avoid overeating. I felt more satisfied with less food, and my digestion improved. I also noticed how different meals made me feel. Processed foods left me sluggish, while fresh, whole foods energized me and lifted my mood. Perhaps the most profound shift was emotional. I became aware of how often I ate out of boredom, stress, or comfort rather than hunger. Instead of mindlessly reaching for a snack, I paused to ask myself, what am I really craving? Sometimes the answer was rest, a walk, or a conversation, not food. Practicing mindful eating isn't just about savoring flavors, it's about reconnecting with the act of nourishment. It's a reminder that food is more than fuel, it's a gift, an experience, a way of caring for ourselves. As Emerson's wisdom suggests, our health is our greatest wealth, and mindful eating is a simple yet powerful way to honor that truth. Habit number 4: limiting screen time. Nothing is more simple than greatness indeed. To be simple is to be great, Emerson reminds us, and in today's world, simplicity often starts with unplugging. Inspired by this wisdom, I set a boundary for myself: just 1 hour of non-essential screen time each day. At first, it felt like an impossible task. My phone had become an extension of my hand, and scrolling through endless feeds was a mindless habit. But as I put my devices aside, something unexpected happened. Time stretched. The first evening, I found myself sitting on the couch, unsure of what to do. The silence felt awkward, almost unsettling. But then I reached for a book that had been gathering dust on my shelf. As I turned the pages, I felt a long-forgotten spark of joy. Over the week, I began filling the gaps where screens once dominated. I sketched for the first time in years, letting the pencil dance across the paper without judgment. I sat by the window, watching the world outside, a neighbor walking their dog, the golden light of dusk settling over the trees. I even embraced stillness, letting my thoughts wander without distraction. The benefits were immediate and profound. My evenings became less chaotic, more intentional. Without the blue glow of screens, I found it easier to wind down, and my sleep improved. The constant hum of overstimulation faded, leaving room for clarity and creativity to flourish. Perhaps the most significant change was mental. With fewer distractions, I became more present not just with myself but with others. Conversations felt deeper, my attention sharper. By the end of the week, I realized how much life I had been missing by always being connected. Limiting screen time isn't about rejecting technology, it's about reclaiming the moments it often steals. It's about finding greatness in simplicity, as Emerson so beautifully put it. And in the space left behind, I discovered not emptiness but abundance, a richer, fuller life waiting to be lived. Habit number 5, daily reflection. In a world that demands constant motion, pausing can feel like a luxury. But Emerson's life was a testament to the power of introspection. Inspired by his example, I ended each day with a simple practice reflection. Every evening I asked myself 3 questions: what did I learn today? What brought me joy? How can I grow tomorrow? At first, the act of sitting quietly with my thoughts felt unfamiliar, even a little uncomfortable. But as the week unfolded, this practice became something I looked forward to, a sacred space to process the day. One night, after a particularly hectic day, I found myself reflecting on a small interaction I would have otherwise overlooked: a stranger's unexpected kindness at the grocery store. Another night, I celebrated a personal victory, choosing patience in a moment that would have once left me frustrated. By the end of the week, I noticed a shift. Challenges started to feel less daunting, like stepping stones instead of obstacles. Small joys, like the laughter of a loved one or the glow of a sunset, took on new significance. Emerson's words echoed in my mind: what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. This habit wasn't just about recounting the day, it was about finding meaning in it. It taught me that every day, no matter how ordinary or difficult, holds lessons and moments of beauty if we take the time to notice them. By turning reflection into a daily ritual, I felt more grounded and intentional. It wasn't about perfection, it was about progress and about living each day as fully as I could. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration. Remember, change doesn't have to be overwhelming, it begins with simple, intentional steps. Let's continue this journey together here on Stoic Trench, exploring more ways to enrich our lives. Until next time, remember this: to know even one life has breathed easier, because you have lived, this is to have succeeded.